this is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wands, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they ain't never had one day. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This one's for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change. For the
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Just here, hanging out, doing some different things. Like I said a little while ago, popping on, doing some random streams outside of just a regular Wednesday. I think I mentioned before, to be quite honest, I think my channel, the Alex Questa Show channel, is probably pretty screwed over with all the different things that we've been doing. I think I put a post out on X about this with the videos, the shorts, the live streams. That it's gonna say screw it, have fun, live stream, and see what can happen here. So I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone is doing well, recovering after Christmas. It is Saturday night. We have one more day. Most of us have one more day off, and then we're back for a little bit. And then there's New Year's Day. Now, I said yesterday I was going to go live Friday night, was going to do a stream, but my children wanted to do a movie night and hang out in mommy and daddy's room. And they're young. They're, 7 and 5. And that ended up being, we're just going to not leave your room. And at that point, I wasn't leaving my kids. They were hanging out, snuggling, and it was like, all right, whatever. And I just stayed there, didn't move. So I apologize for anyone that was looking for the stream yesterday and it was not there. I was hanging out with the littlings, and hanging out with the littles will always trump and take precedent over coming and doing a stream. So, but I'm here. Hello, wherever you're watching from. If you're watching over at YouTube, X, Kick, Facebook, Rumble, we appreciate wherever you're watching from. Please make sure you're giving a like, share, all that good stuff. And if you can, after the stream, leave a comment, especially on YouTube. Post-stream comments on YouTube and Rumble go further than actually the chat, but the like really helps. Making sure you're subscribing or following if you're not doing so already. That always helps. And I'm going to see what I could do to kind of revitalize this channel, especially on YouTube, because like I said, I think I'm screwed over there. I think we've done too much. I don't want to go deleting a whole bunch of stuff, but just coming on and streaming and having a good time. And hopefully more people will want to jump in and hang out. And we're just going to be chit-chatting, just looking at things on the internet, pulling up some videos and stuff. I'll be rambling and monologuing and talking about anything that I want to talk about. So it'll be a good time. I like to talk. Everyone that has watched this or knows me knows that I just like to chat, and I like to just ramble. And it's kind of why I started the podcast in the first place, because I am one of those people that I wouldn't say likes the sound of my own voice, because I don't know many people that truly like the sound of their own voice. But I like talking. I like spreading my word, giving my peace of mind. So that's what I'm going to be doing more of, as long as I have some topics. I'm not just going to come in here and kind of flub it and flounder and not have a plan. I'm going to come in and have a plan, have a few things to talk about, but it's not going to be anything super scripted. Like, the title of this is just a hangout stream with some of the topics I plan on covering underneath. And that's what I plan on doing, is just kind of doing more hangout streams and things like that, where we can get derailed. If the chat comes in and wants to talk about some random stuff, then we can get derailed. And, maybe even in the future, if the chat gets going and we have things like that, I can have you guys jump on with me and just talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. And you can jump in outside of the chat and come and jump on the channel, and we'll talk for a little while. And then when you could dip out, you want to dip out, you could do that. So that's what we have going on here today. Again, I appreciate everyone that's watching wherever they are watching from. And like I said, Christmas, I hope everyone had a good one. I know I had a good one. My kids enjoyed it. We had to do Christmas Day a day sooner. My wife was working Christmas Day, even though we had the whole family over here Christmas Day. They all pitched in and brought food. But we did Christmas Eve as Christmas Day with my little one. Santa came on Christmas Eve, and it was great. They were pumped. Obviously, they got a whole bunch of presents, but it's not about the presents. And everyone says it's not about the presents, and it isn't. They were very grateful. They played with, all their toys and just were grateful throughout the day. And we had a very nice and relaxed Christmas Eve. That was our Christmas. Then Christmas Day came and it was hectic. Family was here, but it was a blast having family here. And again, the kids got so many more gifts. But I mean, while they played with their stuff, it wasn't like they were so distracted by the gifts. They still really just wanted to spend time with family. They wanted to play with the family and show them their gifts and things like that. So I had an absolute blast. I had a great Christmas. I got this awesome shirt, Darkwing Duck shirt right here. It's funny because I was watching Epic Mike stream last night, and he was talking with some of the people I was chit chatting in there, and he was talking about Darkwing Duck, and I was like, "Oh, hey, just got that shirt." So I'm excited. I love all my nerd shirts, and I got to buy a whole bunch more. I wanted some from some of the family. My mom was like, "I have no idea what to get you. Here's money." So I'm gonna go buy a few more nerdy shirts. I'm definitely gonna support some of our friends of the channel. Go buy their things and things like that, and I'll be wearing their stuff um, on the channel because we have to support each other in this ecosystem. If you're not supporting each other, then we're all gonna fail because it's hard going up against bigger juggernauts and things like that. So that is that was my Christmas. My Christmas was good. It was fun. Um, Again, seeing family is always good, and the kids having a good time is always what it's about, is what they do, and that they appreciate what they have, and they do. I think my daughters do. And today we got piled on with friggin' snow. We got absolutely dumped on with snow over the past last night and stuff. So they played in the snow today, and I got to get out and snowblow a whole bunch and all that good stuff. So overall, it was a white Christmas. It was a good Christmas. We had snow on the ground, and it's all you could ask for. But another thing that I want to jump into, because I saw something cool as I was kind of getting prepped. I was just kind of scrolling, and I saw this from Endymion. Now, Endymion, I've seen his posts. I know he does some cool stuff. I've seen some of his clips on YouTube and things like that. And he reposted this thing here from base Serbia, and it was about a Serbian family celebrating the feast of Saint Nicholas. And I guess people were poking fun at them. So Endymion, being a good dude, and I just saw this and I want to highlight it because I think this is friggin' awesome what Endymion did. So he posted here, if anyone can find me the contacts of this family, I would love to send them some money so they can enjoy a Christmas with some extra food and some gifts for the kids. Thanks. And this was 3 days ago, on the 24th. And this started a whole trials and tribulations here. Um, so he goes, so far she hasn't answered me yet. I don't know if anyone reading this knows her, but if you do, please tell her to check her DMs on Instagram. That was still on the 24th. Now going on to Christmas Day. Okay, the mom responded to me, but we got problems. They don't seem to have e-transfer or anything. I'm asking her to set it up if she can, because that'll make it easier. She said she has a bank card, though, the Postal Savings Bank. So I'm just waiting for a response. So you can see right here, she's saying he's posting up the messages here on Instagram. We have a bank card through the Postal Savings Bank. Is that suitable for you? And he asks, is it attached to an email? Because blah, blah, blah. Did I miss something here? No, it's okay. So then he goes, I'm asking her to set up a PayPal to make all this easier. Once I have her PayPal, I will ask the mom for permission to post it publicly if people want to donate anything. So, he puts in here that she has the bank card, and he says the best idea is you could set up a PayPal account, connect it online. She's saying she's going to try and use it. He said just to let me know, and when it's done, blah, blah, blah. So he posts up again. We got a problem. She says and this is still on Christmas Day. So Endymion's trying to get this done on Christmas Day. We got a problem. She says she's unable to set up a PayPal and doesn't know why. Anyone have any ideas here? Any alternatives? Maybe I should ask her to set up a GoFundMe. And again, lets him know that it's not working. He keeps going on Christmas Day. I'm suggesting the mom to open a GoFundMe. We'll see what happens. Again, he posts. I'm seeing people suggest Western Union. Am I able to send something, a PayPal, my own bank, Bank of Montreal, to Western Union? How do I do that? Thanks. And it says, okay. Looks like I could send via Bank of Montreal to Western Union. So do I just need the mom's email? I'll ask her. He goes back and says, I think so far, since nothing is working, the next plan is tomorrow to go to the bank and ask for a transfer directly. It's Christmas, obviously, today, so it's closed. So I'll have to go tomorrow. But so far, this is much more complicated than I imagined it was going to be. He gives a little laughing face. Um, so he said the next idea was to do GoFundMe with Nada, the mom, and list of GoFundMe platforms that work in Serbia, Western Union. GoFundMe itself doesn't operate there. So once Nada is able to do the fundraiser on, say, Fundly, I can send her the money. Hopefully it works. And he continues. So I double checked with Nada if this is the account here. And links are going to her family. So you could donate here. I'll post a proof that I asked her to. Thanks. And here it is. If you want to, you see the information there. I don't know how. I guess a credit card, you could just go to that / donate. So if anyone feels like donating, and I'll show you why, you may want to donate to this family. So he says again, okay, I donated. There's proof too. I hope the kids have a great Christmas. I'll send this to Nada as well. But there you guys go. If you're able to send it, whatever you can via the link. And then he put something in Serbian. Merry Christmas to all. And Endymion goes ahead and sends $700 to these people just so they can have a great Christmas. And again, it was taken out by the family. And again, Merry Christmas, blah, blah. So this is huge, right? Because, you know, when I'm looking at it, so here is the video. We'll watch this real quick.
I oprosti nam dugove naše, kao što i mi opraštamo dužnicima svojim I ne uvedi nas u
So
iskušenje.
they're saying something in Serbian for your festivals, and it's, you know, very modest. They say do the sign of the cross, and there's, you know, the son lighting the candle and, you know, doing his thing. But it's like, you know, the daughter's smiling there. They are pleased with their lives, and, you know, they're not asking for anything. And when I first started reading this, you know, I went down the rabbit hole and I saw that Endymion wanted to donate and stuff like that. And I was like, that's cool. That's pretty cool. And then as I look more and more, he donated $700. Like, I don't care, you know, who you are. $700 is real money. And to give that to a family that he doesn't know, has, you know, no connection to or tied to or anything like that, that's just awesome stuff. And those are the types of things I love to see. That he is, you know, he was working, you know, he wasn't trying to do this just because. He really wanted to help these people out. It wasn't like he sent them $50, right? He sent them $700. And then he joked around saying, go get him a video game, PlayStation, whatever. Don't get an Xbox, which was funny. But it's like, you didn't have to do this. And I'm not promoting Endymion just because, you know, for any reason. I don't know Endymion. Endymion's never been on the show. But I just thought this was really freaking cool. And it ended up that, like, that whole transfer ended up happening today. You know, he posted that 53 minutes ago, an hour ago, that just happened today. So it's even cooler that he stayed with this, right? Like, he wanted this to happen 3 days ago, and he stayed with it up until the point that he could eventually donate. So I just wanted to give a highlight to that, because in talking about Christmas and stuff like that and New Year's and things like that, and how this time is supposed to bring joy. And that family looked like they were joyous. I don't know their means. It looks modest. Maybe that's a part of the tradition, that it's, you know, simple and modest and things like that. And maybe they have better circumstances than we know. But just the fact that Endymion felt the need to stick with this and then to give so much. Right? It wasn't $100. It wasn't $50. It was $700. That's really cool. So I want to take the time to highlight that, because I thought that Endymion doing that was freaking awesome. And again, good guy Endymion here coming in. He gets, you know, chastised on the internet by the leftists because he dares to not, you know, bow down to leftism. But, you know, I feel like that's just, you know, a really cool story. And it doesn't matter if you agree with his takes on the internet about gaming and things like that or not. the fact that he was willing to go out of his way and stick with it, right? It wasn't just a, oh, I'm trying to do this and be nice for the holiday because it's festive. Like, no, he stuck with it for 3 days and he eventually saw it through. So good on Endymion. That's awesome. I appreciate cool things like that and people like that doing those types of stuff. So good on him. That's fantastic. But I want to go to another story now, because I feel like this is something that we're taking a tone. We're going away from Christmas. We're going away from New Year's, right? We're going to flip away and we're going to go somewhere different here. We are going to talk about something that Geeks and Gamers posted up via Benny Johnson. And so real quick, I'm going to, we'll set this up real quick. So right now, what's been going on over in Minneapolis, Minnesota, specifically in Minneapolis, is that they found that there's a big fraud in the Somali community. Now, everyone knows, and if you don't know, Ilhan Omar is a Somali refugee immigrant over into America. She's part of the House of, the the House of Representatives, and she has been utterly terrible. She's crazy. She has talked openly about, she's Somali first, and that whole community has been brought over here. And I'm not the type of person that wants to demonize the whole community. Everyone knows me. I'm very quick on, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's just the way I've always been. But this has taken a turn where they have discovered that there is massive, massive, massive fraud over in Minnesota in the Somali community, that they've been scamming people to get them millions of dollars. And we have no idea how deep this is going to go. But because this story broke probably like 2 weeks ago now, and we've seen no movement on it, maybe even longer, but we've seen no movement. We haven't really seen arrests. We haven't seen major players in the city going down. We haven't seen President Trump really moving on. He said he's going to throw ICE there to get rid of Somalis, but what about the politicians? Why aren't they being held to account? Where is the announcement of a major investigation? I haven't seen it. Maybe I've been under a rock. Maybe it's there, but I don't know where it is. But what we did have is today, Nick Shirley released a 40+ minute deep dive, walking around, just discovering the fraud and going to places in these Somali communities that were stated to be the ones committing the fraud and going to discover it. So here is some of the snippets that happened. First off, it's right here from Geeks and Gamers. YouTuber Nick Shirley is going viral for uncovering massive healthcare and daycare fraud in the state of Minnesota. So let's go and watch this video here.
Children here in your child care?
Which child care name is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here.
So right here, what we're watching real quick is that apparently in this childcare facility, there are no children. And I know this might be a little low. I'm sorry if it's low. But apparently there are no children in this childcare facility. And so Nick Shirley and the gentleman that is with him are asking, where are the children? If there are supposed to be children at this facility, where are the children? Let's see what we got.
And you got $2.66 million this year in funding.
2.6
and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
Over $5 million.
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And which department?
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
And now they close the door on it. And they lock it.
Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center. And look at this daycare center right here. No children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million. And this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Learning Center.
Which is funny here because he points out here. Let's see if we can
To say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They said they spelled learning
crazy
wrong.
Yelling, don't open up here.
up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children?
Don't open up!
This is
and getting $4 million over the
brand of,
$4 million in the last 2 years.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
Away!
Are you in favor of
You
that?
never actually.
Go away!
You know
You're
what?
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you.
going
It's
illegally,
Open up.
fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning
Someone
right on the
white
door?
left this
Ever seen
one,
children
too.
at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child. You've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in there.
We're going to educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
99 children.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that
seen
here.
a child
No,
here.
not at all.
And so you've
8
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
I
they
knocked
are
on the
knocking,
door,
by
and
the
to
way.
my surprise, somebody actually answered the door. Hello? Can we speak? I would like to
interesting.
check a child in the daycare.
I didn't watch this full thing here.
Can I speak to a
Watching
manager?
it with you.
Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare. And after a few questions, the lady went silent. Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
So it's one of two things there too. Like I think we can all suspect that maybe there were never any kids there, right? That's probably number one. It's a part of the front, or is it a Somali only place, right? Like if there are kids there, are they being racist? Because Nick Shirley's obviously very white. The gentleman with him is very white. And is that Somali person looking at Nick going, we don't want his kind here, which is another problem. Now, I think it's more leaning of it's not a daycare center. It is a front. It is an organized front. But at the same time, if it's flipped the other way, it's still a problem, right?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Childcare.
We're in the middle of a strip
Sweet
mall
Angel
here
Childcare.
inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million.
$9 million of fraud they've
in
counted.
tax
Now they have a
money.
fraud counter running
and
at
there
the
are no
whole
kids,
entire
and
bottom
all
of
the
the
facilities
documentary.
are the same way.
List of all of
Oh, there we go.
the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare. Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here. No. Why can't I get healthcare here? No. Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security, armed.
You're trying to
This
get
is the
healthcare.
strangest
Whole bunch of
place
healthcare
I've ever
places.
been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here.
It's just
there
a
are
healthcare suite.
3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company. Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk to about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here.
So again, you're looking at it, and again, it could be one of two things. Either this individual can be profiling because he's a white dude and we only help Somalis, or there's no healthcare there. Those are the only two options we have going on here.
David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million.
Now they're all getting mad.
$78
What
million
was this money
in
spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking
That's
for the
not my
owner
proof.
if you're
That's
telling me
not
to
my
talk
proof.
to the
I'm
owner?
sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue
it's
an
wild.
Amber Alert for missing children?
They're
Are
trying
these
to
children
defend
missing?
us.
It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
Getting yelled at about all this stuff.
Right here.
No idea what they're saying in Somali.
All right. I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good day.
Children.
I mean, that's just wild. That is wild. And so then we'll go over to this one. And this one has similar to what we saw
A list of all
from the other one where they were trying to get health care.
We received a complaint.
So this one ends differently though.
Every year,
As we get from here,
I would say
this is where it stopped
50
on
to
the last
60
video, and then you go to
million
the other
at
thing.
least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the
Then you go
daycare
into one.
centers, and they actually took down information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that, gentlemen matching your description, we're in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is.
And then you have, look at that. So this is right on point because that woman is an activist. That woman has nothing to do actually with the situation. I guarantee she has nothing to do with any of these businesses. I promise she's probably not even Somali. But here comes this activist coming in, and she's probably the one that made the call. But like, here's the thing: these cops are coming in, and they're gonna ask Nick to leave because this woman filed a complaint on an assumption that he's going in to try and prove the fraud. Now it's true he is, but who the hell is she? If he's going in and trying to ask for rates, which he did a few times, they can't stop him from going to, try and get health care.
Area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
So the crazy thing is, it's one word versus another, right? It's that girl going, no, he's not, versus Nick, who quite literally just walked in and tried to get a rate. He has proof on video that he was trying to get a rate. And now the cops are going to believe the activist because, like so many other major cities that are being taken over by leftists, these Minneapolis police are fucking terrified of the activists.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
Look at this dude. This dude is terrified as a cop. Nalfeldy, whatever, of Nonfeld. Like, this guy is here, and this chick is there trying to look tough. And him and his neckbeard is just terrified. He's like, we have to enforce it, trespassing, instead of, wanting to do, and maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he wants to do the investigative work, and he's one of those people, I just need to feed my family instead of trying to do the right thing, right? But let's see this a few more seconds.
So
As we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here.
So that is the end of this video. If anyone wants to go and watch the full video, just go to Nick Shirley. It's at Nick Shirley, spelled with 2 Y's there. You can see it. And it's a 42-minute video. And he said, here's the full 42 minutes of my crew and I exposing Minnesota fraud. This might be one of my most important work yet. We uncovered over $110 million. You guys heard that right. $110 million in fraud, potentially, in one day. He says, like it and share it around like it's wildfire. It's time to hold these corrupt politicians and fraudsters accountable. We all work way too hard and pay too much in taxes for this to be happening. The fraud must be stopped. And then he thanks everyone and stuff like that. So, in the end, number one, everybody, please pray for Nick Shirley. He goes out there, he does these types of things, he goes into protests and things like that, and does interviews. And with the climate right now, with the track record of leftism throughout history and the climate still going on, please pray for Nick Shirley. He is one of the better investigative journalists around. He does really good work. He works his ass off. He goes right into the lion's den. It takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of balls to do what he does. And overall, he's doing some good stuff. He's one of the ones doing good, along with people like, James O'Keefe and things like that, that are willing to go into the Lion's Den and do this independent sort of journalism. So Nick, kudos to you. That's an absolute great job for Nick Shirley and what he did in terms of jumping in there and getting the fraud. And in the end, here's the thing. Innocent until proven guilty, right? If there's smoke there with the Somali fraud and with the potential of there being fraud in the Somali community in terms of, they've taken over that Minneapolis community in large droves, and there is smoke and potentially fire with them setting up the whole things to basically use taxpayer money and funnel it back into themselves to make themselves wealthy. Um, I'm not implicating that Ilhan Omar is involved, but these are the people she represents. And would it surprise me to find out she's potentially involved? No. Would it surprise me to find out Tim Waltz was potentially involved? No, because these are the type of people, and leftists do this. They want to take care of their cabal. They always do. They take care of their cabal while they just let everyone else suffer. This is how it is. So I think there needs to be investigations. I hope Nick Shirley doing this, putting it out on X, and we know Trump is very in touch with what is being said everywhere. I think Barron Trump has a lot to do with him knowing what's going on social media and things like that. Elon probably still has a personal line over to Trump so he can send him something like this. And I'm hoping Trump sees this and starts to act a little more on not necessarily going and just taking them down. I don't just want to go and take them down without proof, but instructing Pam Bondi, instructing Kash Patel, get on this. Get on it now. Get on it loud. Make it vocal. Make those people know that they are potentially going to go to jail and then be deported. Because if you were, a green card naturalized, anything like that, you can be denaturalized. You can get kicked out of the country if you're doing things that are denigrating or harmful to the country. So this is something that I think Trump needs to act on now. It can't wait. This isn't something that can wait. It needs to act on now. So that is a very big deal to me to see that something like that is happening. And Nick Shirley did a great job in uncovering it. And I give him a absolute ton of credit because, again, he's walking into the Lion's Den there. You don't know what that crazy ass leftist who was yelling at him was going to do. Or any of those Somali people that, he's an outsider there. He's an obvious outsider. Him and that guy, David, I guess is his name. They are, obvious outsiders. And they're walking into the Lion's Den. And, you have that woman yelling at them, don't open, shame on you. And then you have that activist woman in there who obviously called the cops, who has nothing to do with anything besides being activists. These people are well organized. They know what they're doing. They follow the rules of radicals by Saul Alinsky. They all probably go to beautifultrouble.org to find out how they can do these types of things and how they should approach these types of things. And I'll say again, if you have not been on beautifultrouble.org and explored it and found out their playbook, then you are harming yourself. Go to beautifultrouble.org. If you haven't read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. It will open up your eyes and you will see all the different tactics that are deployed by these leftist rioters, activists, protesters. They do all of the things according to those rules, and they get their marching orders from Beautiful Trouble, which gives them ways to protest and things like that. It's just a bigger version with people that can input things of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. It's expanded on it. So 100% go on, do that. You should absolutely be educating yourself as to what these people are going to do. Now, in keeping with corruption and all that type of stuff, we have over here from Libs of TikTok, Zoran Mamdani celebrates appointing the first gay FDNY commissioner with a quote here, and we'll listen to his dribble and her dribble. Although she never served as a firefighter, she's confident that won't matter. Get that quote again. although she never served as a firefighter, to be the FDNY commissioner. She's confident that won't matter. So all of these firefighters are going to now be taking orders from an individual who has not sprinted headlong into a fire or had the training and understand what they are asking people to do. Let's keep going with the quote. A trailblazer for the LGBTQ community, which doesn't exist. There is no LGBTQ. They are not together. Community who will serve as the FDNY's first openly gay commissioner, which who the fuck cares? Who cares? Who cares who they like to fuck? Nobody, that doesn't matter. Can you do the job? And we've been screaming this, I know. So, and Libs of TikTok says, good luck, NY. Let's see what this first openly gay commissioner and Zora Mamdani have to say here.
Lillian Bonsignor is a career first responder. In just 9 days, she'll be running the world's busiest fire department, one of the most important appointments of the incoming administration.
And they deserve a leader who cares about their work because she did it herself, who understands every detail, and who will fight tirelessly to empower FDNY and make it the best firefighting force in the world.
Lillian Bonsignor...
So we go, empower FDNY. What does that mean? What does that actually mean? Whenever you hear anybody say empower, what does that mean? How are you going to empower an organization like the FDNY who just goes there and does their job? What are they empowered to do besides their job? That's all we should be asking the FDNY to do. Do their fucking job. Be prepared, work out, be in great shape, because you need to run and sprint and be physical. Train your asses off. Be ready at the drop of a hat to service one of the most busy and populated cities on the planet. There's no empowering there. Work hard and train. I don't understand what empower. What the fuck does that even mean?
Began her career as an EMT in 1991 and was ultimately promoted to chief of the city's EMS division, where she served for 3 years.
So here's the thing, an EMT, EMS, that's awesome, right? And, you know, I appreciate that she has taken the time and has put herself as a, a person that is a part of the emergency services. She gets my respect for being a member of the emergency services, to be an EMS, to go in there and try and save people and help people and be that frontline person to respond to some gruesome shit in the city. Like, I'm not knocking that, she probably worked her tails off from 1991 till now. Like, she's worked hard. I'm not saying she hasn't worked hard. Like, good for her in terms of, her getting that position of leading the, EMS and EMTs and stuff like that. I mean, that's awesome. And obviously she's worked closely with the fire department because, there's a lot of these places, especially in the major cities, that your EMTs come out of your fire department. They work hand in hand. So I'm not saying that she hasn't seen the inner workings of what goes on in the fire department, but she has no fucking clue what they do outside of seeing it. Maybe she's taken the training courses, because a lot of people, they have the mock FDNY test that you can go and take in order to get in shape. I had a buddy who was going to be a NYPD cop, and he said he would take the mock FDNY test because that would physically get him ready, because it would make the police test be cake. And it does, because you do so much more. And, am I doubting that she has taken these physical tests in the past? Probably not. She's probably done them. But to understand what it's like, not to do it in a test situation, but to actually throw that 100 pounds of gear on, to sprint with it, to handle the hose, to work together, to go into a blazing fire in a building that may collapse at times, to have to save people, to have to look into a dark smoke and understand where everybody is to communicate, all those types of things. She doesn't know. And she's going to be sending these people into the lion's den without knowing. And I know I'm using lion's den a lot. I don't know why. But she's sending these people into harm's way without knowing. And that's a big problem here.
Before retiring in 2022. Although she never served as a firefighter, she's confident that won't matter.
I know the job. I know what the firefighters need, and I can translate that to this administration who's willing to listen. I know what EMS needs. I have been EMS for 30 plus years.
Bonsignor is a trailblazer for the LGBTQ community.
And here's the thing, that phrase, I hated the LGBTQ. It doesn't exist, guys. I'll say it here, I'll say it again. There's lesbian and gay people, and that's fine. Bisexual goes into that. That is their sexuality. Transgender has nothing to do with who they want to fuck. It is who they believe they are. That is apart from the LGBT community. That is not their sexuality. That is them changing their person. A gay person is still who they are. They just want to fuck something besides the natural order of things. That doesn't mean that they don't want to be a woman anymore or a man anymore, what their biological sex is. And the Q, which is hilarious because I forget who it was the other day, was talking about football. Bijan Robinson, when he said they played a game Smear the Queer, which we used to play, we used to call it Kill the Man with the Ball, Smear the Queer. He got in trouble for saying queer, but now it's okay to say queer because we're saying it in this context. Picking and choosing when the fuck to say the word and when it's appropriate, right? But now they use queer here as the catch-all for everyone, for different. And let me tell you, it doesn't fucking mean that, guys. There's queer theory. You know what queer means? Constant revolution. Queer means that when something becomes accepted in the status quo, it is now discarded because it is not different. It is just being different. That's all queer means. And that's a part of the theory, is to continue to deconstruct the status quo. They are adding a critical theory at the end of this. And that is what they do. They sneak this type of shit in. Our whole lives, number one, queer meant gay for the longest time. It was a synonym for gay when I was growing up. You would say someone's queer. And also weird. Someone's very queer. Someone's very weird. That was more of an old-timey term of it. But now it depends on who says it, if it's a smear or not. And for her to say, listen, she accepted the job. She's going to try and say the right things. But for her to say, I know what the firefighters need, the fuck you do. You don't. I know what EMS needs. Yes, you know what the EMS needs. 100%. You worked in there. Again, I respect her work as an EMS. That's hard. That is also dangerous. And they also work hand in hand with the other emergency services. I'm not knocking that. But she has no fucking clue what the firefighters need.
Who will serve as the FDNY's first openly gay commissioner. She's a highly respected, detail-oriented manager who
Here's the thing. None of that matters. The fucking gay stuff. That doesn't matter. Highly oriented, detail. They're trying to puff her up.
Has been compared to NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who will remain in her post in the new administration.
I mean, and that's the end of that. But it's like, I mean, the battle's not over, guys. There's too many people that think woke is dead and that we've won. Have we made movements? Yes, we've made, but it's not dead. Because here's the thing, whether they call it woke or not, leftists never stop. Forget who said the quote, and I've said it and I've heard it before. Communists never get tired. You may get tired. You may not, you may want to stop. You may want to sit there and take whatever victories you have and go back to normalcy. Communists don't. Leftists don't. They don't stop. Activism is all that they have. Taking apart capitalism, taking apart what you love, taking apart your freedom to give themselves power. Because all they look at things as is a power dynamic, as a power play. Zoran Mamdani did not nominate that woman because she is the most qualified. He nominated her because he wanted to center the margins, because he wanted to try and take power from one spot and give it to another. If this was the commissioner of EMS and he wanted that would be absolutely qualified. She is qualified for that. Commissioner of the FDNY? No, that belongs to a firefighter. A firefighter should be the commissioner of the FDNY. Caveat Ties, what's going on, man? How are you? Caveat Ty saying they have nothing to fear. Why would they stop? Agree. No one does anything. No one fucking does anything. No one does anything to them. We don't fight back. We don't put our own policies in place to fight back. I mean, Trump has been trying with some EOs. But what have we won in Congress? Don't get me fucking started on Congress. Don't get me started. Caveat, I just want to welcome you. I'll be doing some more of these just hangout streams where I bullshit and talk about things. And I'll be popping up every once in a while. Hopefully you get the notifications. That'll be nice. That would be nice. I like seeing you here, Caveat. You'll be on soon. I'm excited. Let me see. Are you on next week? I think yeah. Fuck yeah, you are. I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Everybody, Caveat Ties will be on next week. I'm going to be very pumped. Dave and I don't know if Dave's going to be there that day because that's on a different day, but it's on next Tuesday. We are going to be having a Caveat on. So everyone be excited about that, darn it. But what do I want to chit chat about next? Oh, this was something that was a shitstorm here. So Vivek Ramaswamy pissed off a whole bunch of people when he talked about heritage Americans at TPUSA. And now, I chimed in and people were trying to get at me saying, well, heritage American isn't a term. It's something. Motherfucker, shut up. Okay, be quiet. We've seen the white nationalist side of the right, the left of the right, talking about, white Christian nations and we need to have Americans who are just American, blah, 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 blah. So he might have said a different term for people to be like, this isn't a term. You're a fucking idiot. You're the reason why we lose because you have no comprehension of anything or you just play dumb. You're a leftist, okay? Leftists do those types of things. And I actually got in and I was chatting over at, I was watching Rob North's stream. His Festivus stream, which was fantastic. If anybody, number one, if you haven't subscribed to Rob, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Rob is fantastic. Go subscribe to his YouTube page where he does awesome debates. He does really cool debate breakdowns of other people having debates. He's a part of the Crucible with Andrew Wilson, which he deserves because he's fantastic. And I'm pumped that Andrew Wilson hired Rob. It's one of the best things that he could possibly do. And so I was chiming in. Then he was doing his Festivus stuff. And, he mentioned something about white people being angry and this and that. And listen, I don't disagree that there is an absolute attack on Western, straight, white men and white people in general in these Western nations. We see it over in the UK where the Muslim community is 100% taken over London and England and Germany's fucking lost. And there's so many places that they've been taken over and being, white European is a bad thing. And we're seeing it here. I was talking about the Somali community earlier and it is happening. And I just think, and he mentioned Vivek and the heritage Americans and everyone gets on Vivek because listen, Vivek, he says some dumb shit, okay? He's not trying to get elected. He's going to lose in Ohio, even though it was a friggin' jump shot for him, a layup for him that he should have made. But they're digging into his past. I think one of his parents isn't a citizen and the other one is. And coming from Vivek Ramaswamy saying, talking about the heritage American thing, he's the wrong guy to do it. He's the wrong guy to do it. Because I do think that there does need to be some caution. I'm not saying that there isn't an attack on white people. Okay, there is. It's obvious. It's clear to see. But there does need to be some caution as to who we lay down in bed with when it comes to this, right? If you're laying down in bed with the Nick Fuentes and the Goiper crowd, you're a fucking idiot. There's just no other way about it. They are not on the right. They are not conservative in any shape or form. Nick Fuentes is a say what I need to say in order to get clicks guy, period. When he lost to Charlie Kirk, in trying to be the next young conservative guy, what did he do? He started to go to extreme bullshit. He's a showman. He says things the right way, but he started to say some dumb shit, and he got a crowd of a bunch of gooners to friggin' follow him, okay? And they're Goipers, and they have a dumb name. And he's a person that we should just ostracize. The guy isn't on the right. But that's the bedfellows that you keep if you go into this white-only nation type of thing. I'm sorry. That's the type of groups you keep. You fall into the groups with the Candace Owens and the Israel does everything wrong crowd because they tend to be the same bedfellows as these Christian nationalists and these fake America first, America only people. Okay? Because again, you have to be smart about the way you do things. And I understand the anger. And I get it. If I'm a white working class dude and I've had woke shoved down my fucking throat since 2014 and I have been told that being a straight white male is the worst thing you could possibly be for the last 10 years, I don't blame anybody for being pissed about that. None. But we also can't lose our heads. We can't fight far leftism with another extreme. It doesn't work. Because if you go from one extreme to the next, every time it ends up with an authoritarian takeover because both sides are to blame and you get one charismatic person that can see, okay, I can get this group and they are very easy to grab onto and boom. That's how history works, guys. I'm not trying to say, I'm fearing and dooming authoritarianism, but motherfuckers, that's just how it works in history. And if you're not a student of history, it's not my fault. Maybe you should go look at how most despots rise, okay? Caveat Ty saying, I didn't like the Pierce Morgan line of attack about him not sleeping with anyone. I mean, listen, Pierce Morgan sucks, okay? Pierce Morgan he went from trying to be respectable to being a shock jock. And he does his online show where all they do is they argue. Pierce, he just wants to bring people on. He wants to get shock value. Nick fucking destroyed him. And why did he destroy him? Because Pierce Morgan's not an intellectual. He doesn't read, okay? He doesn't read shit. He has staffers. He has staffers that read things for him and tell him what to say and what do they think he should know. Nick Fuentes is not an idiot. He's not stupid. He's learned. He knows his shit. Schooling somebody like Pierce Morgan is not difficult for Nick Fuentes. So, that whole entire Pierce Morgan thing, like, yeah, he took down Pierce Morgan hard. Great fucking job. Good. Good for you, Nick. Good. But where was I? We just need to be careful. So I want to watch this Heritage American shit that Vivek said, and we can kind of break down what he said, what he means, and if he's right or if he's wrong. So let's see. And again, listen, I'll say this. I didn't watch this fucking thing because I knew I was going to talk about it here. So let's watch it.
About criticizing the woke left. Now let me get to the harder part. There's a different vision of American identity that's emergent in certain corridors of the online right. And it says that your identity as an American is based on your lineage.
And listen, people are saying he's wrong. That doesn't happen. That is true. And I've seen it. I've seen people saying that, there are more American people than not. And listen, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. If you could trace your founding back to the revolution, man, you're American. Like, you are. That doesn't make you any better of an American, though. Doesn't make you any worse. And in this country, at least, it doesn't put you ahead of the line. And it never has. Let's keep going.
That how long you have been in the country, your lineage and your genetics tied to the blood and soil of the country determines how American you are. It is the idea of a heritage American that says the truest form of an American is somebody who is a descendant of the American Revolution period or before.
And the thing is, again, it's not necessarily a wrong thought that those people are the most American, right? I'm not going to argue with that. And maybe, listen, I will say this flat out. Maybe I'm a little more touchy because I am a second generation American. My grandparents, both sides, were born in one in Italy, one in Ecuador. They both came here the right way. They both immigrated the right way, came here. My parents were born here. I was born here. And maybe hearing some people online saying that because they were into the revolution, they could trace their lineage to the revolution, it puts them ahead of the line of me as an American, when I know my fucking conservative values, my ideals, my devotion to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and I know where I stand, and I've been this way for a really long time, and it rubs me the wrong way. And maybe I'm a little defensive about this because I'm not a part of that group of the revolutionary Americans, right? So there's a little bit of fuck you coming from me when I know that there's plenty of dumbasses out there that are half the American I am in terms of how they feel about the country, what they're willing to talk about, what they're willing to do, and what they believes are, and what they believe their beliefs are, and the knowledge they have about our founding and who our founders were, what they stood for, what they meant. Maybe I'm a little touchy on that sense, but also I'm also in a little bit of fuck you again, right? So there's that. Let's keep going with what Vivek's saying here.
And I will tell you, this idea of the heritage American, we ought to have this discussion. It's becoming more popular. I think the idea of a heritage American is about as loony as anything the woke left has actually put up.
So, and again, like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with the heritage American part of it where they're like, hey, we're the most American. Sure. You are in terms of where you could trace your lineage back to. Yes. Yes, you are. But does that make you more dedicated to the cause? Because the way I've always seen it as, if you're willing to come to this country and you're willing to not just work hard to give back to your country that you came from, but if you're willing to come in, integrate, work your ass off, give back to your community that you're in, whether it's, it doesn't matter what community you're a part of, a diverse community, a non-diverse, whatever. But if you're there and you want to give back to your community and you don't treat people like shit and you just want to be left the fuck alone to have your own private property, your own private shit, you believe in individualism, you believe in the Bill of Rights, then I think you're just as American as everyone else. And if you're not living off the welfare system, if it's your goal to never be on that, if it's your goal to own your shit, buy your house, maybe open up a business or work your tail off in wherever you're at, pay your taxes, pay your bills, do everything you got to do, support the military, all that shit, then you're American. Now, where people are complaining are those who just live off the government teat. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. If you're not from this country, and even if you get naturalized and you live off the government teat, get the fuck out, right? If you're a net negative for this country and you have no want and you have no desire to try and improve yourself, go. We don't need you here. I'm with that. But I just can't get behind this theory of just because your family's been here longer, that you're more of an American just because of that. You could have all that, but if you're a fucking idiot, then you're not more American than me. I'm sorry. Fuck you. I was born here as well, bitches. I'm just as American. This soil's my soil. I was born here. I believe in this place just as much as everyone else. Let's keep rolling.
There is no American who is more American than somebody else. The American quality, it's not like the left, they believe in this non-binary stuff. There's no non-binary American. It is binary. Either you're an American or you're not. And you think about it, I could prove this to you. Thank you. I'll take some applause on that.
But here's the thing. While I agree, either you're a citizen or you're not. We also need to make citizenship more difficult to get. And this is something, real quick, I'm going to jump on my soapbox here. I've heard so many people complain that it's expensive and it is difficult to become an American citizen. I say to that, good. It should be harder, to be quite honest. It should be damn near impossible to become an American citizen. Why? Because this is the greatest nation on the planet. People want to come here in droves because of the opportunity, because what we offer, because what you can do here still in this country. Even though people think that we are a negative nation right now, that we are hopeless, that we are out, that we can't do anything, our kids can't buy shit, they're never going to have a house, they're never going to have a family, blah, blah, blah. And with all of that being said, there are still people flooding this fucking country. Why? Because out of every other country on the planet, this is still the one that gives you the most opportunity. They don't go to fucking Canada, who everyone loves. They're going to Europe and taking over. But those are militaristic men that are there, and they see idiots that are allowing them to take an economic zone, which we're also planning on doing here, it seems like, in America. But the bottom line is, this place still provides you with so much. That's why people want to get here. That is why they want to get here. And which also why it's imperative we kick all the illegals the fuck out. And we let those that want to come in the right way do it. Because again, my grandparents did it the right way. They came here legally. They worked and became citizens. They did what they needed to do. My dad's side did work their asses off, and they were not well off, but they still stayed here because they gave them a better opportunity than they did in Ecuador. My mom's side came from World War II torn Italy and came here for better opportunity. And they all did it the right way. So all the people that aren't doing it the right way need to get the fuck out. And they need to be out. I don't want to hear any of this amnesty shit. I've heard people talk about, even on the conservative side, well, maybe we just need to give them a path. No, their path needs to be gone. I don't give a fuck if we send them to Canada at this point. If they're more north, throw them in Canada. Canada wants them, take them. They're so fucking open. Take them. And if not, throw them down in Mexico. Ship them anywhere. Get them the fuck out. And then make it harder to become an American. Because the bottom line is, this, to become an American, it should be so earned. And you should want that so bad that you are willing to pay anything, to do anything to become an American. I don't give a shit if that is having to rewrite the Constitution and the Bill of Rights by fucking hand and just write the whole thing out, memorize it, write it out, and the Bill of Rights. Honestly, I would love that. And then if they give you a Federalist paper, you better be able to fucking recite it, because you better know all the Federalist papers, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. And I know what I'm going to hear from people. Well, Americans don't even know that. I don't care. They were born here. They don't have to. Should they? Yes. But they don't have to. They won the lottery by being born here, okay? So that is my thing. That's my thing with that. We should make it harder to become an American citizen, not easier. Because we should demand that the people that want to come here want to be here to be an American. Not to just come here to make money to send back to their fucking family. We should end remittances. That should go away. There should be no such thing as remittances anymore. You want to do remittances? Then you should be taxed at like 200% for every fucking remittance you send. So that now it becomes not worth it to do. You want to come here? Come here the right way. Work your ass off. Know everything that we need to know. And like I said, I think this should be incredibly hard. And it shouldn't be cheap. You should want to prove that you want to be here. And by the time you are done, you should be fucking bleeding red, white, and blue. But that's my soapbox real quick. So now let's, again, caveat ties coming in saying it's not difficult. No, where we go. Not difficult if you jump the border. It isn't, but that's also why we need to get them the fuck out of here. Where I'm with Donald Trump on that. We need to deport all of them that are here illegally, and we need to denaturalize anybody that isn't puffing their fucking chest and pounding it and saying America, America, America. I'm sorry. We need them to be the most patriotic people on the planet. And here's the thing. There are a fucking ton of immigrants still in this country that will sit there and will do that. Will pound their chest, and they are America first all the way. And they agree with all the shit Donald Trump is doing in terms of getting these illegal immigrants the fuck out. Because again, they did it the right way. All right, let's continue with what Vivek has to say here.
If you really believe in this idea, think about where it leads you. Leads you to believe that Donald Trump is less of an American than Joe Biden because Donald Trump's mother was an immigrant and his grandfather was an immigrant. That doesn't make any sense. Leads you to believe that somehow Bernie Sanders is more of an American than Senator Bernie Moreno from my home state, an America First patriot, because Bernie Moreno was a naturalized citizen from Colombia.
Now, here's the thing. I've seen people saying that, Vivek saying this and saying all these things is a slippery slope, because what he's saying is it introduces, people saying that, hey, well, naturalized citizens should be able to become a president, which they can't. They currently can't. You have to be born in the country. You have to be 35 years old to run. And, the biggest thing is born in the USA. I am cautious on that. Because here's the thing. Whenever conservatives start arguing the slippery slope, they get laughed at. And then it happens. Okay? That's just how it fucking works. And this is cautious. Because we mentioned Zoran Mamdani. Who would love it more than him than if the conservatives start going, hey, a naturalized citizen's just as much as an American as one that's born here. And again, there is levels, Vivek. There is. Because if you look at it, yes, my grandparents worked their asses off. But when they had their kids here, their kids were born and bred American citizens. They had zero loyalty, zero care about another country, because they never knew another country. So there is that difference. If you are from another country, you become naturalized, you do have ties to that country, okay? You do have memories. You do still probably have love for the nation. Even if it was war-torn, even if it was shit, there was a time where you probably did love that country. So there is that, where I do have to say it's difficult, but there is levels to this shit. I will agree with that. And like I said, someone that's been here since the revolution, if their family was here during the fucking French and Indian War, they were colonists, they could trace it back to that. Abso-fucking-lutely. You are American through and through. You have zero loyalty to anybody else. This is your only place you've known. This is the only thing. I get that. And I'm not necessarily arguing that. Because like I said, an immigrant that's here, they might love the country, they bleed it, they want it, blah, 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 but they still have memories. They still have some sort of loyalty and tie to that other country. Okay? That's just truth. That's truth. Bottom line. But there are levels to this. And that's where I disagree with Vivek. There are levels to this. Going back to sitting there and all these like deep things and blah, blah, blah. No, Donald Trump had immigrant grandparents or whatever it was. And now he's a second generation. He's American. Once you are here, my thing is, once you are born here, and as long as you acclimate and your family has started to acclimate, like there's a difference. If you are born here, but your family never wanted to become an American, so they don't teach you to acclimate, to become an American, to live by American norms and our societal norms, okay, then there's something wrong. So there's levels there. There really is. It's a weird, this is much more nuanced than how long has it been? What have you done? When were you born here? Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of nuance to this argument in this debate. Let's see what more Vivek has to say.
It makes you think that Marco Rubio, our great Secretary of State, is somehow less of an American than Elizabeth Warren because she's a Native American, which we all know, right? Doesn't make any sense. It's loony. It's crazy talk. It makes you believe that somehow I am less of an American than the transgender criminal who assassinated Charlie Kirk. We refuse to accept that.
And the thing is, too, like, you'll see Vivek, he's going to the most extremes in terms to get it, saying that he's, I would say, I'm less an American than the person that shot, blah, blah. And it's like, we get it. And he's doing it for the speech. I get it. But it's like, no one is going to say that he's probably less of an American. And listen, like I said, Vivek might be the wrong person to be sending this message, and he only had time to do a speech. But I think there's just so much more nuance to, are you here born from the revolution, or were you born here yesterday? Are your parents immigrants? Are your grandparents immigrants? Great-grandparents? There's a lot that goes into whether somebody is an American or not. I think that there's a lot that goes into that.
The idea that a heritage American is any more American than another American is un-American at its core. And I will fight to the very end for that, because that's what it means to be an American. We believe in ideals. That is who we are.
I do disagree with him on that. That is the most un-American thing, to think that one American is more American than the other, because there is, like I said, there is levels to this. There is. If you were born into a family that cares more about the country that they were from than the country that they're currently living in, and that's the household that you lived in, and you gained no love for this country, then you're not super American. I'm sorry. Even if you were born here, you're not very American. Because you don't give a fuck about this country. Your goal is not to see this country prosper. You are going to sit there and still want to see the country that your parents adore, that your parents talk about, that you probably send remittances back to. You're going to still have so much loyalty and an oath to the country that your parents or grandparents came from, because that's how you were raised. Now, the difference is if you have grandparents or parents that immigrated here, love this country, and say, hey, we might be from X country, but we're Americans now, and we are going to learn how to be an American. We're all going to learn English. We are going to work our asses off. We're going to sit there and be good members of our community, and I want you to just be an American. Yes, your heritage is this and that, but you are an American first. That is, to me, what creates an American, wanting to be that. David, what's going on? He's saying, I think a good way to put it is whether or not you have somewhere else to go if something goes wrong. And I think that's also a good way to put it, Dave. That's not a bad way to look at it either, that if shit hits the fan, can you go somewhere else and just blend in there because you kind of never really left, right? We're looking at, again, I'm not going to keep picking on them, but that Somali community in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. If they get kicked out, they just go back to Somalia. They never truly acclimated. It's not like when they go back to Somalia, they'll have trouble fitting in or have trouble getting right back in, because they just brought their culture here completely and totally. Have not even tried to blend into the American, the American hegemony and the American way of doing things. And I think that that's really where we need to look at it, right? And again, I will go back all the way back to saying that I don't necessarily, and I got a nice little fuck you from Arcady Y5G. I appreciate that. Yes, fuck me 100%. Make sure you like, share, follow, and subscribe if you want to keep on telling me to fuck myself. But anyway, I completely get that there are a bunch of white dudes that are pissed because the last 10 years they've been told that they're the worst things ever. I get it. And it's very easy to emotionally go, everyone else that isn't a white American dude that can't trace his roots back to the French and Indian War can get fucked. I understand that. I get the emotion. I get the sentiment. And I'm with you. I want to see movement. I want to see more people the fuck out of here. I want to see more denaturalizations of people that are trying to plot against this country. I want to see all these things. But what I don't want to see is one extreme go to the next extreme. Because whenever you play on the extremes, the despot comes in. That's just history, guys. And I'm not saying it to be doomer. I'm not saying it. That is just history. And it's something we need to take into account when we start sitting there and having these strange bedfellows, okay? Because the bottom line is, Trump's done in 28. We know that. We're probably going to get shellacked in 26 because we're not running any good fucking candidates and we suck at messaging. We're bad at this. And, no one offers solutions in Congress. Now, I see the House has been trying to pass a few more things, but the Senate's not going to pass anything. So none of Donald Trump's, his EOs are going to be codified. The things that we saw that have been positive, none of it's going to be codified. If the House is gone in 26, he's going to be impeached. God forbid the fucking Senate flips big time. He'll get impeached. He will get removed in 26 or 27. At the end of 27, if Republicans really fumble this, like they're known to do. Okay. But 28 is going to come around. And 28 changes a lot. Because we're going to go back, and we're seeing this already. We're going to go back to decorum. We're going to go back to the way things were. We're going to go back to rhetoric. And I want to say, I don't give a fuck about any of that. And you already hear it, right? Donald Trump has been raped from the coals because of what he said about Rob Reiner. Was it in bad taste? Sure. Would I have said it? No. I said what I said about Rob Reiner. That he brought a lot of joy to people through his movies. And that he was fantastic in what he did. And it's sad that he was killed by his son. 100%. Him and his wife. They didn't deserve to be murdered, their throat slit by their son, with their sister, with their daughter, his sister finding her parents dead. It fucking sucks. People are disgusted, and even people on the right are coming out. And even me, I was looking at it like, oh, angry. But now that I think about it, I don't fucking care what Trump had to say about that. I don't. Because the bottom line is, number one, I like the fact that Trump is real. Like, I look at these posts that he's been doing, that Christmas post. I wasn't a big fan of the post when he boasts, okay? I'm not massive when he's, talking about something that should just be simple, Merry Christmas, and he goes on that diatribe. But that's who he is. And I don't want to hear any lectures from anyone on the left about anything. Because number one, people forget when it comes to Trump and Reiner, Rob Reiner did make a comment that he was sad that Donald Trump turned his head, okay? So if I'm coming from Trump's perspective, fuck that guy. That guy wished I died, okay? Like, I don't disagree with Trump's anger. Now, saying that he was killed because of TDS was, I think, the big thing. That like he was killed because of TDS and he drives people crazy. Wasn't killed because of TDS. Okay, that's nuts. But basically, Trump saying fuck Rob Reiner. I'm not disagreeing with him on his stance because Rob Reiner, after Trump survived an assassination, said he was sad that Trump turned his head. So asking Trump to have sympathy for a guy that wanted him to be killed, I'm not mad about Trump saying fuck this guy, okay? Honestly. And on top of that, I don't care about any of the rhetoric. I don't. Because the bottom line is, what are we caring about? We want to go as the right. We always want to be above it all. We want to be the ones that have decorum. We don't want to be like them. But then we also want to be tough. We also want to be bootstrappers and blah, blah. Which one do you want? Because to me, at times, being tough is being willing to tell somebody to fuck off. Okay? It is being willing to sit there and make fun of somebody when they deserve to be made fun of. Because the bottom line is, when it comes to those on the left, I don't care about what they think about me and the things I have to say. I don't care what they think about Donald Trump and what he has to say. My favorite line is when Trump does something that leftists don't like, and they're like, well, do you agree with what he said there? How could you vote for that guy and morality and shit? It's like, you know what? Fuck you, period. Because I don't care with people that either have called me, the people I vote with and my way of thinking, a racist, a bigot, a sexist, an Islamophobe. Let's keep going on, and now a Nazi and a fascist. That's at least 6. They've called us everything in the book. Now, either they've called us that, or they vote for people and support people that openly call people like me those names all the time. So I'm sorry if I don't care about your opinion. I'm sorry if I do not give a shit about what you think on any topic, because you have lost everything with me. I'll have a conversation with you. I will, even give you the time of day to try and convince me. I will let you call me those things so you're my face, and I won't hit you. I won't do anything. I'm not one of you. I'm not an emotional leftist. I'll let you say it, and I'll just be like, listen, you think that, whatever. But I also don't give a fuck about what you think. I don't care about what you think about the things that Trump says. I really don't. Or his morality, or anything that he did. Because you know something? I like what he's done foreign in the policy stuff, okay? Where are people sitting there going, it's awesome that he's defending Christians in Nigeria? That he went and he bombed the fuck out of ISIS strongholds because apparently they've been the one that have been leading the charge of killing Christians in Nigeria. Where are people celebrating that? Where are people celebrating the wars that he's brought to an end? Wars that we didn't know were happening. Where are people, celebrating all the deals that he's gotten done? Foreign. In terms of manufacturing, have we seen it really turn around the economy? I have a goddamn hair right here. It's bothering me. Look. Sorry about that. Have we seen it truly turn around the economy completely yet? No. Things are starting to come down. I've seen gas start to come down. I've seen my eggs being much more affordable. Some things are still wacky in price, but things are slowly getting better. And I mean, he did the 1776 dividend for the active soldiers through tariffs. Now, again, I'm not strong on tariffs. I don't think they're great because, my conservative. No, I'm not a fan. But if they're working, guys. And I'm okay with their working. And I'm okay with seeing this economy hopefully turn around next year and hopefully in time for the midterms. Because if the economy's good, then that really is going to help everyone in the midterms. But I don't give a shit about rhetoric. I don't want to go back to decorum. And that's what we're going to get. J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, who I like both those guys. Ron DeSantis, I like Ron. All these guys, I think they could be good presidents. But I don't want guys who are going to go back to being nice and decorum. And even Donald Trump does this. He wants to be nice to people that fucking hate him sometimes. And I want him to be a little more fuck you to these people. Now I get it. If he thinks he's making a deal and he thinks he can smooth some of these people over, he's going to schmooze them. I get it. But at the same time, fuck these people. So, pardon me for not caring, okay, about things Donald Trump says. I care about what he does. And with him sitting there and closing the border, the fact that we have had negative migration for the first time, and I have no fucking clue, first time in my life that we've had negative migration, the fact that he's actually deporting people, and I know people are saying, it's not enough. It's not enough. Of course, listen, it's never going to be enough, right? It's hard to do. You got people pushing back on him left and right. But man, the fact that he's trying and that the borders are closed. People call Obama the deporter in chief. All it was he was catching people at the border and putting them back. It wasn't like he was going into the heartland and pulling people out like Trump is. Trump is doing shit that we've never seen before and things that need to get done. I love that he's doing that domestically. And that's going to help overall. It's not going to help some boomers when they see the price of their houses go down. It's not going to help that. But what it is going to help is everybody else. When more jobs open up, when, some of this fraud gets fucking discovered and we can hopefully get some of these corrupt politicians out. When these filled houses become available because these illegals were there, or, decent apartments or whatever it is. There's good being done right now by Donald Trump. There's some shit I don't like that he wants to do. And I will push back and I will call it out when it happens. But when it comes to the things he says, if anyone asks me, oh, how could you support this? Because fuck you. That's how. That's how. If you especially, listen, if you're on the right and you want to have a conversation with me about how, I don't like the things Trump says, I'll talk to you about it. I think you're soft. Because why? You don't, he doesn't show the decorum of a president. And what did the decorum of a president get us? Mitt Romney showed the decorum of a presidential candidate. John McCain showed the decorum of a presidential candidate. They both got steamrolled by Barack Obama, who's one of the worst fucking presidents around. A guy that, remind you, consistently for 8 years told us America's a country on the decline and we just need to manage the decline. That's what we heard for 8 years. People tend to forget that Obama was a person actively saying his job as president was to manage the decline of America, that we are not a great nation anymore. Those are things that people gloss over, the fact that was Obama's whole presidency. Was him apologizing for America, doing wrongs around the world, and then his whole job that he said was to manage the decline of America. Our best days were behind us. Those are actively things Barack Obama said. And that we all 100% forget. Nobody brings up that shit that he said anymore. It's like Obama never said it. Nobody remembers that motherfucker was intentionally bringing us on a decline so that it could fit his narrative. And on top of that, he was the worst for race relations ever because he's one of the most racist motherfuckers because all he did was put his nose in things he didn't belong in. So spare me if you want to talk about rhetoric and decorum, because it hasn't gotten us anywhere. You want more George Bushes? Then go back to rhetoric and decorum. If you want more real people who are at least going to try and get shit done, then maybe, just maybe, let's stop calling for the return of rhetoric and stop calling for the return of decorum. Because honestly, guys, that's not going to get us anywhere as conservatives. You know what it's going to get us? It's going to get us more of, well, I think you're wrong, but it's your right to say it, and I'm not going to be mean about it. So you know what? I'm just going to say you're wrong. These are my sophisticated big words and facts on why you're wrong, and these are the studies. While the leftist just goes, did you see what he just said? He just said that he doesn't care about you, that he wants your kids to die. He wants to take women's rights away, blah, 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 and appeal to emotions. Which is why Trump won, because Trump also appealed to emotions. We need more people that are willing to say fuck rhetoric and fuck decorum and get in there, do the job, fight their asses off, be wrong and be right, do both, because Trump's not a saint. Trump's not right on everything. He's wrong on things. But Trump's also willing. He never admits he's wrong. He never apologizes, but you'll see it. If there's a real big pushback on something, either he'll just never fucking talk about it again, or you'll see him reverse course. He won't say it. He'll just do it. People will call him out for it, and he'll pretend like he never reversed it. But that's his way. He pays attention. But outside of that, I've been yik-yakking for almost an hour and a half, everyone. I was going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. They won again tonight. They have 10 wins. They are now, I think it's like 7-3 in their last 11 games. They're ruining the tank, but it looks like they're developing. So maybe I'll talk about the Nets a little bit later on another stream. Maybe we'll do a sports stream. Maybe we'll do a wrestling stream. Like this one was very political and stuff. We started talking about Cheery with Christmas with Endymion doing some great stuff. But now maybe I'll jump on again soon. Maybe tomorrow night. I don't know. We'll see what I'm doing. We'll see if I'm bored. But Monday I do my other show, Talking in Ovals, the track and field show. If I don't know if we're going on this week. We might be off this week. If we're off, maybe I'll jump on here. We're trying to get a guest on there, someone that we've been trying to aim for. She's a real talented runner in Jersey. But if not, maybe I'll jump on here. I don't know. We'll see. If I can do Monday for the other show, maybe I'll jump on tomorrow night. If I'm not doing Monday for the other show, maybe I'll jump on here Monday. I'll take tomorrow off. I don't know. But it'll be another Hangout stream just like this. You'll see my goofy ass face there. It'll probably say Hangout stream again. The topic's underneath, that same shit. But that's really all it'll be. So everybody, I appreciate you watching wherever you watched from. David, Caveat, I appreciate you guys. Caveat, we'll be in touch because I got to send you some stuff to get us set up for our show next Tuesday. But yes, I appreciate you all. Wherever you watch from, YouTube, X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble. Make sure that you give us a like, share, follow, subscribe. Go follow us at the Alex Cuesta Show everywhere. And I'll be back one of these days. Again, this Wednesday night show where I'm interviewing, I'll be talking to Caveat Ties. He's going to be on Tuesday because Wednesday night is New Year's Eve, and I do not want to be doing a stream on New Year's Eve. I'm not going to lie. I am going to want to be hanging out with my family. Not going to be doing anything. I don't do shit on New Year's Eve. But I like to hang out with my kids and see if they can stay up till midnight. And then once that ball drops, go to fuck to sleep. That's what I do. I know I got off New Year's Day, but I don't care. I've been hanging out. Maybe as I get older, we'll go hang out with family a little more and things like that. But yeah, no, I'm old. I act like an old ass man. I didn't even want to come on here and do this stream tonight. I'm happy I did. But I was sitting there in my bed earlier and I'm just like, man, I don't got to get up if I don't want to. But I remember I told you guys I'd be on yesterday and then I didn't do yesterday because I'm an asshole. So here I am. I will be on again soon. Once again, I love my Darkwing Duck shirt. Look at how cool it looks. I fucking love this shirt. This shirt's fantastic. Thank you to my mother-in-law for getting it for me. She's awesome. But yes, thank you so much to everyone that watched. I will be back again soon. If not, the next few days, definitely Tuesday to talk to Caveat Ties. So everyone, thank you again for watching. I appreciate you all. So long, y'all.